Think back to 5 years ago and you realize that the word content creator was not widely used. So yes, we had social media managers, we had video creators, we had different kinds of writers, but content creators, we really didn't have that. But these days, content creation has become a full-time job. I mean, you literally meet people online who are content creators. People are getting paid to create content. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you need to know if you want to become a content creator. So content creators often do things like filming and editing videos, researching and writing blog content, creating consumable content on social media that people can engage with, and so on and so forth. So bloggers, online publishers, newsletter authors, podcasters, YouTubers, online course creators, social media influencers, they all fall into the content creator bucket. So what do you need to know if you want to become a content creator? The first thing you need to know are the different kinds of content. The first one is written content. So there are people who are writers, they love to write. So we have copywriters, people who write sales copies, people who write marketing copies, people who write copies for marketing collaterals, people who write web copies, and so on. We also have content writers. These are people who write blog posts, people who write articles, who write journals, and that. We also have script writers. These are people who write scripts for movies, people who write script for adverts, get TV adverts, radio adverts, explainer videos, and so on and so forth. We also have email writers. These are people who write drip campaigns, they write newsletters, they write sales nurture sequences, they write transactional emails. Then we also have technical writers. These are people who write guides, FAQs, instruction manuals, and so on and so forth. So content writers are hired by other people who need written content, either on their blogs or some of the examples that I have mentioned. The second kind of content that we have is video content. So video content creators create videos for video-based platforms like YouTube, TikTok, or for other kinds of video-based platform. So as a video content creator, you'll be creating video materials for consumption. Now these days, video content is like the most widely consumed content on the planet. And so many content creators are beginning to add video content to the bulk of their work. So now if you choose to become a video creator, what are the skills that you need to have? Number 1 is research skills. This is like the most important skill that a content creator, any kind of content creator, needs to have, because you need to be able to research what people really want. You can't just up and start creating content off the bat without knowing if your audience would like to consume the content that you've created. So you need to research what are people asking for, what is trending, what do you think. It's not about what you think people like, but what you've seen that people like based on research. Number 2, a good knowledge of the platform you are creating your video content on. So if you want to be creating content on YouTube, you need to understand their policies, you need to understand best practices, you need to understand what works and what doesn't. So I have a group of friends who are also YouTube video creators, and once in a while we get together to talk about what we've read about YouTube's policies, YouTube's do's and don'ts, what is happening in the YouTube world, and things like that. So you need to educate yourself on the platforms you are creating content for. If you are creating videos for coaches or for online course creators, you need to understand which platform they'll be putting the videos on before you jump right at creating videos. So you need to have a good knowledge and understanding of the platform you'll be creating your videos on. Number 3, video editing skills. So if you have the budget to outsource your video editing, it's totally fine. But if you don't, you need to know what tools to use for video editing. You need to know how to edit videos. A friend of mine uses Canva to edit his videos. So if you cannot outsource video editing, you need to be digitally aware of the tools that you can use, and you need to practice, okay, so that your video will come out nice and clean. The third kind of content is auditory content. Auditory content is the content that people listen to. For instance, podcasts. And podcasts are absolutely beautiful because your audience can listen to them on the go. If you compare it with a YouTube video, people need to be actively watching the video, or if it's a blog post, they need to be actively reading. But with a podcast, they can listen to it on the go. They can listen to it while doing other things. They can listen to it while walking. They can listen to it while doing chores, because that's what I do. That's when I listen to podcasts. So how can you start a podcast? First, you need to decide on a topic. What do you want to talk about in your podcast? So some of the podcasts that I follow talk about faith, relationship, purpose, online business, and so many others. So you need to decide on what you want to talk about. So you want to make sure that you do a research to find out what your audience would love to listen to. Also, let it be what you're passionate about and what you can, easily speak on. I wrote a blog post on different content channels that you can explore, and I went in depth about podcasts. I'll put the link in the description below. All right, so the second thing you need to know is you need to have a portfolio. So a portfolio shows your would-be clients that you have a solid body of work, and it also gives them the sense of the quality of output that they'll be paying for. When I teach content creation, many people come to me and they start asking how can they get booked by brands, how can they start creating content for brands. And I always say that's not the first step. If you want a brand to hire you for content creation, they need to see the work that you have done. And I understand you're just starting, right? And you're asking yourself, if I don't have jobs, or if I've not gotten job, what do I put in my portfolio? It is very simple. When I started content creation, before I started creating content for anybody at all, I started by creating content for my own platform. So I started by writing blog posts. I had to learn all the necessary skills that would help my blog grow. So I started to write blog posts. So when it was time to start getting hired by other people to write articles for their blogs, it was not difficult. I had something to show. So if you want to be a video creator, why don't you start creating videos for yourself? Don't wait for brands to come to you without having anything to show. So the body of work that you will show to your clients is the work that you have done for yourself. So if you want to be a content writer, create a blog or write articles on online publications. If you want to become a podcaster, why don't you create a podcast for yourself and let people see the work that you have done for yourself? If it's beautiful, if it's professional, then they will hire you to create content for their platforms. The third thing you need to know is that you need to specialize. So at first, when you're just starting out, you might not necessarily need to drill down to a specific niche. So what you can do is look for an area that you're really passionate about and start creating content on it. So it could be fashion, it could be tech, it could be marketing, it could be digital marketing. Just make sure that it's something that you love to speak about, or something that you can really speak on or create content on, and start creating content on it. As you go along, you begin to figure out what you're really passionate about in the area that you have picked. Having a niche gives you the opportunity to work with a focused customer base with a specific need. And brands will be looking for creators whose specialties match with their business topics. The fourth thing you need to determine is your price point. The fees for content creation varies tremendously, because the price that you would charge for a single blog post is not the same price that you charge for a YouTube video. It's not the same price you would charge for, say, a TikTok or a reel. What I would advise is that you find out what content creators in your niche, especially people who are creating the kind of content you create, are charging, so that you don't underprice or overprice yourself out of the market. The last but not the least thing you need to know is tools. You need to decide on the tools that you want to use. The most successful content creators make digital tools their best friends. From content planning to content scheduling to video editing, there are so many tools out there. As a content creator, you need to be digitally aware. Okay, you can't be doing things manually. You don't even have the luxury of time to do that. If, for instance, you need to create a video for a brand and the video needs to go out at a certain time, and you are not outsourcing, there are so many tools at your disposal. Using the right tools for your content creation can make your work so much easier and make you so effective. So that's all on 5 things you need to know if you want to become a content creator. If you loved this video, why don't you like, subscribe, and share to your people. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram at Patrick1. I'll see you in the next video.